My beloved brothers and sisters, peace be upon you all. Today, I speak not just to your minds, but to your spirits. Because this message, these 10 ways, is not about theory or philosophy. It is about life. It is about rising up. It is about finally becoming what God planted inside you long ago. Before you can believe in yourself, you must know who you are. This is not just about your name, your age, your job, or where you come from. Knowing who you are goes much deeper. It is about understanding your identity at the core, your value, your purpose, your origin, and your destiny. Most people walk around with labels stuck to their soul, labels given by parents, by society, by teachers, by failures, by past mistakes. Some have been told, you're not enough, you're too much, you're lazy, you're not smart, you'll never change. And without realizing it, they wear those words like skin. They believe them. And when you believe lies about who you are, you start living small. You start walking with your head down. You don't try. You don't dream. You just survive. But you weren't made to survive. You were made to live, to create, to build, to rise. So the first step is simple: peel off every false label. Every voice that ever told you you weren't good enough, silence it, because none of those voices created you. They didn't breathe life into your lungs. They didn't form your heart. They don't know the fire that lives in your bones. Only the one who made you knows the full truth about you. And the truth is this: you are not an accident. You are not a random piece of flesh walking through time. You were formed with precision, with intention, with greatness buried deep inside you. You were chosen to live now in this moment for a reason. When you understand that everything begins to shift, your confidence doesn't come from your resume. It doesn't come from likes on a screen. It comes from identity. Identity that cannot be taken, broken, or bought. When you know who you are, you stop trying to prove it. You stop chasing attention. You stop begging people to notice you. You walk different. You speak with clarity. You act with intention, because you no longer live to impress. You live to express the truth that is already inside you. But it takes work to unlearn the lies. It takes reflection. It takes silence. It takes honest conversations with yourself and with God. Ask yourself, what lies have I believed about myself? Where did they come from? Who told me I wasn't worthy? Who told me I couldn't do it? And then take those lies and burn them. Tear them down one by one until all that's left is truth. And here is some truth you need to hold on to. You have value that cannot be erased. You have a voice that matters. You have talents that are needed. You have a spirit that can withstand storms. You have a role to play that no one else can play. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not too broken. Even your flaws, yes, even the mistakes, can become part of your strength when you own them and grow from them. People spend years trying to find themselves. They look in books, in relationships, in careers, in success, in failure. But the self can't be found out there. It's revealed inside when you quiet the noise, when you disconnect from comparison, when you stop trying to be what others want and start becoming who you were meant to be. It's not about changing yourself. It's about first discovering yourself. The real you, the strong you, the brave you, the focused you, the passionate you, the one who was hidden under years of fear, shame, doubt, and disappointment. And once you know who you are, you become dangerous to anything that tries to stop you, because the world cannot shake someone who is rooted in identity. The storms can come, the opinions can fly, the rejections can sting, but when you're grounded in who you are, none of it moves you. You stay planted, you stay steady, you keep building, you keep walking. Believing in yourself is not hype, it's not arrogance, it's not pretending you have it all together. It's simply agreeing with the truth about who you are, and that truth was never meant to be small. It was never meant to be weak. You were designed with strength. You were born with purpose. You carry potential that is still unfolding. The more you get to know yourself, the more you realize there is more in you than you thought. More strength, more wisdom, more creativity, more endurance, more power. But it all begins with that first decision to stop letting the world define you and start walking in the truth of who you really are. Stop waiting for permission to shine. Too many people live their entire lives in the shadow of others' expectations, waiting for a moment when someone will tap them on the shoulder and say, "Now you're allowed to be great." That moment never comes. And the longer you wait, the deeper you sink into silence, frustration, and regret. This world is full of people with potential buried under permission. They wait to be noticed. They wait to be accepted. They wait for someone to tell them they're ready. But listen carefully, no one is coming. Not because people don't care, but because no one can give you what you already have. Greatness isn't handed to you. It's claimed, it's activated, it's chosen. From the time we are young, we're trained to seek approval. We raise our hands in class. We ask for permission to speak, to go, to act. And for many, that pattern never stops. We carry it into adulthood. We hesitate before starting the business, before creating the art, before speaking the truth, because we're still waiting for some authority figure to say, "Yes, you're allowed." But what if you stopped asking? What if you stopped shrinking your dreams down to what others can handle? What if you stopped filtering your fire so others don't feel uncomfortable? When you believe you need permission, you give your power away. You live based on what others think you deserve. And the truth is, most people will never see the fullness of what you carry. Not because you aren't valuable, but because it's not their job to validate you. That's your job. That's your responsibility. Shine anyway. Even if they don't get it, even if they don't support it, even if they roll their eyes or walk away, the fear of judgment is real, but it's not bigger than your calling. People will always have something to say. Too loud, too bold. Too different, but you don't exist to fit into their box. You exist to break the box and build something new. Your shine will bother some. That's not your problem. That's a sign you're finally stepping into what was already inside you. Stop downplaying your gifts to make others feel comfortable. Stop watering down your voice so it doesn't offend anyone. Stop hiding the dreams that keep you up at night because someone said they were too much. You are not too much. You're just not in the right room if your light feels like a threat. The right people won't be intimidated by your shine. They'll be inspired by it. You don't need a certificate to begin. You don't need everyone to clap. You don't need all the answers. You just need to start. Start scared. Start unsure. Start with what you have. There is no perfect moment. Waiting for everything to line up will only keep you stuck. You'll talk yourself out of your own destiny trying to be ready. You'll miss opportunities trying to be liked. You'll bury your calling trying to avoid criticism. Let them think what they want. Let them doubt you. Let them laugh. None of it matters. What matters is that you know the fire in you didn't come from nowhere. It's not random. That vision you carry, that idea that won't leave you alone, that dream that pulls you in every quiet moment, it's not fantasy. It's a seed. And seeds don't ask for permission. They grow wherever there's soil, water, and light. Be the soil, be the water. Be the light. Refuse to wait another day. Refuse to sit on the sidelines while life passes you by. Refuse to make yourself small so someone else can feel big. Refuse to ask for permission to be what you already are. The power to rise is already in you. The door is already open. You just have to walk through. Talk to yourself like you matter. Because you do. But here's the truth. Many people speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to a friend, a stranger, or even an enemy. Inside their own minds, they become their worst critic, their loudest accuser, their harshest judge. Every mistake becomes proof of failure. Every delay feels like defeat. Every weakness becomes a weapon they use against themselves. And over time, that voice becomes normal, familiar, automatic. So automatic that they don't even notice it's there anymore. But it's there shaping their confidence, guiding their choices, killing their courage before it even has a chance to breathe. If you're constantly telling yourself, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I always mess up, don't be surprised when you begin to live like it's true. Thoughts become beliefs, and beliefs become behavior. What you repeat, you start to believe. What you believe, you start to live. And the scary part, that voice in your head, it's not always based on facts. It's often built from fear, insecurity, or words spoken by someone who never saw your value. Yet you let that voice take the driver's seat. That has to change. You must become intentional about the way you speak to yourself, not with fake positivity, not with empty hype, but with truth. Honest, life-giving, powerful truth. The kind of truth that reminds you that failure is not your identity, that your worth isn't based on performance, that progress is still progress even when it's slow. The kind of truth that doesn't ignore your weaknesses, but doesn't let them define you either. You have to become your own coach, your own encourager, your own reminder that you've made it through hard things before, and you can do it again. Stop waiting for someone else to cheer you on. Start doing it yourself, out loud if you have to. Say it in the mirror. Say it in your journal. Say it in the middle of the storm, because your words carry power. And if you're not using that power to lift yourself, you're probably using it to tear yourself down. Some people think it's arrogant to speak well of themselves. It's not. It's responsible, because no one hears your voice more than you do. And if that voice is full of shame, fear, and self-doubt, how can you ever expect to walk in boldness? How can you expect to take risks, to lead, to build, to create, if your inner dialogue is constantly screaming that you're not enough? You don't need a perfect past to speak to yourself with strength. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to decide that you're worth being spoken to with love and respect. Train your mind to speak life. When fear shows up, talk back to it. When comparison creeps in, remind yourself of your lane. When discouragement tries to sit on your chest, lift it off with truth. Say, I'm learning. I'm growing. I'm not done yet. Say, I don't have to be perfect to be powerful. Say, I'm showing up anyway. Say, I've failed before, but I've also overcome before. These are not just words, they are weapons. Use them. Reprogramming your inner voice doesn't happen overnight. It takes repetition. It takes awareness. It takes practice. You might catch yourself slipping back into old patterns. That's okay. Catch it, redirect it, replace it again and again until truth becomes louder than fear, until grace becomes stronger than guilt, until encouragement becomes your default, not your exception. You matter. Your journey matters. Your voice matters. And until you start treating yourself like that's true, you'll keep walking in circles, sabotaging your own momentum. Speak to yourself like someone who believes in the future, like someone who's not afraid to grow, like someone who knows that their words shape their world, because they do the work others won't do. This is where the separation begins. Many people talk, few actually build. Many want the reward. Few are willing to carry the weight. If you want to achieve anything meaningful, anything excellent, anything that lasts, you must be willing to do the hard things that most people avoid. Not once, not twice, but consistently. Over time, in silence, without applause, when it's boring, when it's painful, when it feels like it's not working. That's where the real growth happens. Everyone wants results. Everyone wants to succeed, to be respected, to live a story worth telling. But when it comes to waking up early, staying focused, practicing discipline, facing fear, pushing through rejection, and sacrificing comfort, most people fold. That's where you rise. That's where you become different. If you can train yourself to embrace discomfort, to love the process more than the praise, to keep going when others stop, you will separate yourself. Not because you're better, but because you refuse to quit. There is no shortcut to greatness. There is no elevator to the top. You want to build something strong, you better be ready to dig deep. brick by brick, layer by layer. You want to be sharp, you better let yourself be broken, shaped, and refined. That means repetition. That means consistency. That means doing the boring things with excellence. That means doing the right things even when no one is watching. Especially when no one is watching. You can't fake preparation. You can't pretend your way into strength. It's built in the quiet. When everyone else is distracted, you're focused. When others are scrolling, you're learning. When they're sleeping in, you're grinding. That's not about hustle for the sake of hustle. It's about being committed to your vision. It's about respecting the calling enough to suffer for it. You don't rise by accident. You rise by design. The people you admire, the ones who seem unshakable, disciplined, effective, they didn't get there by talent alone. They showed up day after day. When they felt like it and when they didn't, they fell, they got back up, they failed, they learned, they bled, they kept going. They said no to shortcuts. They said yes to growth every single day. You cannot expect extraordinary results from average habits. If your actions don't match your ambitions, don't be surprised when you feel stuck. You must align your lifestyle with your vision. That means saying no to distractions. That means choosing long-term reward over short-term comfort. That means not just talking about dreams, but scheduling them, building them, pushing them into reality with sweat and sacrifice. And yes, it's lonely sometimes. Yes, it's exhausting. Yes, it takes time. But so does regret. So does mediocrity. So does the pain of wondering what if. You choose your heart. You choose your pain. You choose your path. The one that leads to greatness will cost you, but it will outgrow you. It will break off what doesn't belong. It will show you who you really are. It will turn potential into power. Most people never see what they're capable of because they stop too early. They hit resistance and call it a sign to quit. But what if resistance is a sign you're close? What if the hard part is where the real transformation happens? What if the work that hurts is the same work that unlocks your strength? The question is simple. Will you do what others won't? Will you show up without validation? Will you grind without recognition? Will you keep your word to yourself when it's inconvenient? That's the level where results are born. That's the level where average ends and excellence begins. Say no to things that shrink you. Not everything in your life deserves your time, your energy, or your presence. Some things, even good things, are not meant for cheers you. They don't feed your purpose. They don't push you forward. They don't align with the vision you carry. And if you're not careful, you'll stay stuck in environments, habits, and relationships that keep you small just because you're too afraid to say, no, you were not created to live limited, to be boxed in, to stay where it's safe and familiar. Growth requires space, it requires energy, it requires truth, and that means cutting off the things that drain your spirit, blur your focus, or silence your fire. This is not about pride. It's about protection. You have to protect what's inside you. If you don't, the wrong people and patterns will pull you off course, and they won't feel bad about it. They'll just keep taking. Some of the things shrinking you are subtle. Procrastination, negative self-talk, addictions to distraction, overcommitting out of guilt, saying yes because you don't want to disappoint others. But while you're busy pleasing everyone else, you're slowly abandoning yourself. That's not love. That's self-betrayal. You owe yourself more than that. You owe yourself a life that reflects your calling, not one that caters to comfort or compromise. Start paying attention to your environment, what you listen to, who you surround yourself with, what you consume. It all matters. If something consistently leaves you empty, confused, drained, or discouraged, it's shrinking you. Don't justify it. Don't explain it away. recognize it, and then remove it, even if it's been part of your life for years, even if it feels uncomfortable to walk away. Some chapters have to end so new ones can begin. And yes, sometimes it's people. Not everyone in your circle is meant to stay. Some relationships were only meant for a season. Some were built on old versions of you, versions you've outgrown. And if you keep shrinking to fit into old spaces, you'll never step into the new ones prepared for you. That doesn't mean you hate anyone. It means you love your purpose enough to protect it. It takes strength to say no in a world that pressures you to always say eyes. It takes vision to recognize what's hurting you, even when it's familiar. And it takes courage to walk away from the noise so you can hear your own voice again. But the more you practice it, the freer you become, the more space you create, the more your life begins to align with your values. You don't grow by doing more. You grow by doing what matters. You grow by being intentional. You grow by surrounding yourself with what lifts, challenges, and refines you. That means saying no to mediocrity, no to distractions, no to anything that keeps you stuck in cycles you were never meant to repeat. Because the truth is, you can't rise while holding on to what's pulling you down. Trust that you're being shaped, not abandoned. Life will not always feel easy. There will be moments where the weight feels unbearable, where silence feels endless, and where every door seems to be shut. In those moments, the voice of doubt creeps in, whispering that you're alone, forgotten, or left behind. But that's a lie. Just because it's hard doesn't mean you're being punished. Just because it's quiet doesn't mean nothing's happening. You are being shaped. There are seasons in life where the visible progress stops, but the invisible work goes deeper. You're being refined in places that no one sees. You're being strengthened through pressure, through delay, through resistance. That's how character is formed. That's how roots grow deep. You don't build resilience when everything is going your way. You build it in the silence, in the wilderness, in the hidden places where your strength is stretched and your faith is tested. Some of the greatest growth happens in the dark. Seeds don't sprout in the spotlight, they break open underground. Pain has a purpose when you don't run from it. Delays can carry divine preparation. Discomfort can unlock discipline, but only if you trust the process. Only if you stop interpreting every trial as a sign that you're failing. You were not brought this far just to be dropped. There's a reason you've survived what others didn't. There's a reason you still have breath. There's a reason the fire inside you hasn't gone out. Even though it's flickered, you're being equipped. You're being carved into someone who can carry what you've been called to carry. If the blessing came too early, it would crush you. So the delay is not denial, it's development. Even when you don't feel it, you're being led. Even when you can't see the end, the path is still unfolding. Every closed door is redirection. Every setback is setup. Every loss is making space for what's next. Trust it, even when it doesn't make sense. Especially when it doesn't make sense. You don't need to understand the whole story to keep walking. You just need to believe that you're not alone in the fire. You are not being forgotten. You are being forged. So now the choice is yours. You can keep living small, waiting, doubting, shrinking, or you can rise. You can start walking like someone who knows they were created for more. Not later, not someday. As now the power to change, to build, to lead, to create, to overcome. It's already in you. But no one is going to hand you the life you want. You must take it. You must fight for it. You must believe in it even when it's hard, even when it's quiet, even when no one else claps. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be plus persistent. You don't need to have it all figured out. You need to start. So stand up, speak life, do the work, protect your fire. Say no when it counts. And above all, trust the process. You are not here to blend in. You are here to break through. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs a you, fully alive, fully awake, fully ready